lip crusties. Hey guys, hope you all have been well. Welcome back to my channel. It's a little weird because I'm filming at night. I haven't done this in months. I might even say stretch it to a year, but I decided to film last minute. Here we go. So on today's video, I wanted to talk about brands that I tend to forget about, and this is not meant to be like a negative thing. It's just that I forget that they exist, whether it's because I have no interest in the products that they come out with, or I just don't have enough history with trying their products that it's always like out of sight, out of mind, and I don't look for them. Please remember, this is just makeup. If these are your favorite brands, like, more power to you. Continue to support them if you love their products, but just for me, it's just I always tend to forget they exist. So without further ado, let's get started. I made my list here. Not that many. I could have done a lot more, but let's see how this first one goes. So the first one here is Urban Decay. Urban Decay started the palette trend. That's my personal opinion. I almost feel like it's kind of hard to fight it because the original Urban Decay palette started the trend of a bigger palette, other than, you know, like duos, trios, and quads. Those were for the most part the dominant eyeshadows of the industry until that thing came along, and then it just went crazy. But I think after their palettes died down, their popularity, like early YouTube, so the Naked palettes, the Vice palettes, their 24/7 Glide On pencils, like after that peak, I don't even think it ever plateaued. It just kind of went downhill, and the interest in the brand kind of fell along the wayside with that, and I was one of those people that lost the interest. I will always recognize the place that it had in the makeup industry, within like the makeup community and just consumers in general, but over the years I just feel like they've gone downhill. I think the most recent palette they did, which is the Honey palette, seemed to have a little bit of a following, so that's a good sign. They're also coming out with a new Naked Ultraviolet palette. We'll see how that fares, but overall they've never really maintained their status in the makeup industry, and with that the interest in the brand slowly decreased, and I was part of that group that slowly lost interest in the brand. Next up we have Morphe, and this can be debatable, so this is again just my opinion, but I remember a time when Morphe was everything. Like, you push the code, people bought the products, and there's just more vocalization of just being tired, not living up to the quality that they once had. People are saying that their older palettes were so much better in quality than what they're producing now, and because there was sort of an uproar of like, why are they always pushing these Morphe palettes and all of that stuff, I think the kind of commotion, the noise that they were making in the industry has slowly gone down, so I'm not seeing it as much. I was never interested in Morphe, like, to begin with. I do have quite a bit of their brushes, but that's about it. I can't even recall ever trying a Morphe product at all. So again, my interest was never really there, but the fact that YouTubers that I watch aren't talking or hyping them up as much as they used to, it's almost as if like, oh yeah, Morphe exists. You know what I mean? So yeah, their popularity is still there. I know people still, you know, get sponsorships and all that stuff. But in my realm of like what I'm interested with in makeup, I don't hear much about them because I rely on a lot of YouTubers to hear what's going on with Morphe. Tarte. I know that there are some die-hard Tarte fans out there, but again, it's one of those brands that I was never really interested in. The most hyped product, I think, as of recently has to be the Shape Tape. And even then, like, people still love Shape Tape. The peak of its stardom, its 50 minutes of fame, has definitely passed. There are some other stuff that are coming out, and as we see the trends change on the type of makeup that's more, you know, popularized or trendy, then we see that it's less about full coverage and more about just embracing what you have and using spot concealing here and there. And I also don't hear about a lot of the like brand trips, affiliation stuff like we once heard. That might just be my ignorance about not knowing what's going on in the industry, at least in terms of Tarte, but I haven't seen like, we're going to brand trip with Tarte, vacation with Tarte like they used to do. So I don't know if that's a reflection of just their lack of popularity now, or maybe they're just trying to revamp things up. I don't know. Whatever it is, I don't hear much about them anymore. The last hype was Shape Tape, and before that it was probably their Tartelette palettes. Again, maybe I'm naive to this, but those are the things that stick out to my head. It's never really been like launch after launch. Like ColourPop does big launches and people get excited about every single one regardless of the fact that they come out every single day. But Tarte, it's like I don't hear about that kind of excitement like those other brands get. Lorac. I don't want to be like shady about it, but honestly, when was the last time you heard about Lorac? Was it the Pro palettes, the Mega palettes? I don't know what they've come out with since then, in complete honesty. It's not one of the brands that I keep up with, but it's just like I don't hear anything about Lorac anymore. Do you guys? And if you do, please let me know. But I've seen a ton of haul videos, a ton of reviews, first impressions, favorites, and I can't remember the last time I heard about a Lorac palette besides maybe an eyeshadow collection. And even then, people are decluttering it, with the exception of some of these Mega Pro palettes. Are they still even producing makeup? I'm not sure. I still have my Unzipped palette and I do love it. I'm questioning whether or not I'm going to declutter it given some of the eyeshadow palettes that I recently purchased and am waiting for. But still, it's what have they produced that has gained some sort of traction since the Pro palette? I don't know. I really honestly do not know. So if you know, let me know. Laura Mercier. Do you guys remember when people were just adamant about the translucent setting powder? I don't think I own that one anymore. I was just about done with the old one. Tried to make this concoction with the darker shade. Didn't end up well, so I gave it away to someone who had a deeper complexion to mine. But after that, what happened? What happened to Laura Mercier? Some of their color scheme for their eyeshadow palettes really do intrigue me. They're kind of like basic, this girl, but I can't say that there was anything beyond the translucent setting powder that had that kind of mark in the industry. People still use that powder, but beyond that, since that, what's been happening? Because I don't know. It's kind of like the Lorac situation. Like, what happened after their hype product? I don't hear people talking about, hauling their stuff. And maybe it's a different time, a different demographic, but still it did have its, its own little place in the industry. And now we don't hear anything about it. And so it's like you tend to forget that they exist beyond translucent setting powder. Next up we have Stila. Stila gives me the vibe, I don't know if you're like old enough to remember, but it's like the makeup version of Delia's or Alloy or Alloy. Those catalogs for teenage clothing way back when. Stila gives me that vibe, very youthful, and I just think of those catalogs. That's what Stila reminds me of, but that has nothing to do with this topic. What I did want to mention is we hear a lot about their shimmer and glows, and that's about it, right? Like, I remember when liquid lipsticks were first popular and they came out with their version of it, and till this day it is my number one question: what are you wearing in that MAC neutral natural lip swatch video? It's Stila's Patina. So Stila will always have a place in my heart because that is the number one question I've gotten on YouTube since I've started. But if we took away shimmer and glow right now, what would we have from Stila that makes it still relevant? Because I hear a lot about the glitter and glow and people don't like that. They just like the shimmer and glow. I think at one point their convertible like blush or lip thing, I think it might have been a combo that was really popular at one time. Stila in the Lights, I loved that palette. It was one of my favorites, but this is like years back. I'm talking nearly a century ago. I just hear about shimmer and glow, and that's only if they use it in a makeup look or I'm watching a collection or declutter video and I see it there. But as far as like, here's the new thing from Stila, I can't wait to try this new product from Stila, I don't hear it. And as a result, since I've never really been interested in Stila, I forget they exist. And lastly for today's video is Buxom. I know Buxom lip glosses are still popular. I never really got into them because if I'm not mistaken, Buxom was one of the first makeup companies to do those lip plumping lip glosses, and I'm talking like when I was in college long ago. So I never liked them. They were like prickly and painful on the lips, and I've just had a bad experience. I don't think the formula is the same anymore. I think they've kind of toned it down, and people rave about their lip glosses. Quite honestly, a lot of the people that I watch on YouTube, when I'm looking at their collection, they have a Buxom lip gloss. I did own their eyeshadows. I think I built it a few years back, I want to say. But in my opinion, for Buxom, again, my opinion, I don't think anything really happened beyond the lip glosses. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember hearing about a palette or a mascara. They haven't really come out with a lot of stuff, or maybe they have, but it's never gained traction. So Buxom has kind of been like flying under the radar. Maybe undeserved, I don't know, but we don't hear a lot about them. And it was never really like they've had this big boom and then, you know, slowly went downhill. It was just kind of always mediocre with Buxom. And as a result of my bad experience and never really hearing much about them to begin with, I forget that they exist. Honestly, it's only the lip glosses that bring me back to Buxom. So that is it for this video. Let me know if you guys like this style of video. I can definitely put together a new list of makeup brands that I can talk about. If you have a list that you would like to share with me or other people that are watching this video, please feel free to leave it in the comments down below so we can share and start some conversations. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you like this makeup look, you know the drill. Check me out on Instagram. First link in the description box down below, where I will post a photo of this makeup look along with all the products in the caption. Till the next video, I hope you all are doing well, taking great care of yourselves. I will see you all next time. Bye guys.